Hey everyone, my name is Iron, and today I'll be talking about high FOV in Sea of Thieves. First off, let's talk FOV. FOV stands for field of view, and the number that changes as you slide the slider indicates the horizontal viewing angle of your screen. For example, 90 is a 90-degree angle, a right angle like this, and 120 is a 120-degree angle, as you can see here. And as most of you know, Sea of Thieves is locked at 90 FOV by default, but as some of you know, 120 field of view has been gaining some popularity amongst the Sea of Thieves community a couple months ago. But how? As so many of you have been asking in the most recent videos. Well, it's by editing a game file on the Steam version of PC. Well, isn't that bannable? As so many more of you have also pointed out to me. The short answer is no. No, it is not. For everyone opposed to it, the main point they bring up is that editing files is against the rules. It isn't. The prohibiting of game files cannot be found anywhere, and I mean anywhere. Not in the Sea of Thieves terms of service, not in the Xbox terms of service, not even in the Microsoft terms of service does it say that editing game files is bannable. And if you want to check yourselves, links to all these user agreements will be found in the description. When keyword searching for mod, modify, files, modification, alter, game files, etc., nothing comes up about not being able to modify game files. So now that we've got the it's bannable comments out of the way, let's move on to the it's cheating and gives an unfair advantage. Listen to me closely. A high field of view is not an advantage, especially in Sea of Thieves. Honestly, the fact I could play Sea of Thieves at 1440p, 200 plus FPS with 2-second load times is a bigger advantage than being able to have 120 field of view vision. It's not like it's 180 field of view and I could see both ladders of the sloop while facing forward on the wheel, or 360 where I could see behind me. I'm also simply not doing any better on 120 than I was on 90. Simple as that. It's harder to see targets in front of you because they seem further away from you. And if you look back in the last couple of videos where I've been using 120 field of view, there are 0 situations where I have won a fight, got a kill, hit a shot, seen someone because I have 120 field of view than if I had 90. Just as an example, here's some 120 field of view gameplay, and here's what it looks like if I were to be on 90 field of view. The difference isn't that much and doesn't actually make as much of a difference as you guys might think. It literally just looks better. Just look at my montage, look at my legendary Sea Dog video. Those videos, I was doing really well in PvP on 90 field of view. I was way better before switching to 120 FOV. I'm literally just using 120 FOV because it looks nice and it makes me feel like I'm running faster, which is cool. Anyways, let's switch topics. Let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare for a second. In that game, PC players are able to turn their FOV up all the way to 120, and console players are stuck at 80 locked FOV. In all my 10 plus years of gaming, the Sea of Thieves community has genuinely been the only community to care this much about having a higher field of view. It's ridiculous. For another example, Minecraft. There are people who purposely play on a lower field of view, maybe like 80 or 90, or even lower, 60. I think you can go on 60 in the game. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure you can. Instead of maxing out at 110. It's because it doesn't actually make you play better. And they just like the look of it better. It's really simple, which is fine. It's perfectly fine and understandable to want to play on 90 FOV instead of 120. I get that it looks a little weird and fisheye. Some people might not be into that. That's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. And I'm not suggesting that Rare locks the field of view at 120 for Sea of Thieves. I'm simply asking that they add support for 120 FOV, maybe even not 120. Several people have said maybe even just 110. 110 is fine. I can settle for that. I just want to max out my field of view. Do you get what I'm getting at here? It's like Minecraft. You choose the FOV that you want. I like a higher FOV, so I want to choose the highest FOV available. I was running 90 FOV before this because that was the highest FOV available instead of the default 60. What is so hard to understand? I just personally just think 120 FOV looks better, and a lot of people agree with me. Even some people who like the higher FOV don't really like the 120 because it looks too fisheye. They usually use 110, which is fine. I understand that. Granted, there are some very insignificant visual bugs with 120 FOV, which can be super easily patched. Like when you're raising the anchor, and if you look down in the bottom left or bottom right of your screen, you can see the inside of your shoulder a little bit, but that's literally it. Now, I know addressing this issue and making a dedicated video about it does present me at a higher risk of getting banned, even though it's not stated anywhere that's against the rules currently. And if I'm banned for speaking up on this topic and calling out Rare for their bullcrap, I have lost all hope for them. As I stated earlier, it's not against the rules. Even if it is, it isn't. Let me explain. Everyone I've heard that opposes high FOV says modifying game files for an advantage is bannable. For an advantage, pay attention to that part. And as I stated earlier, a higher field of view is not an advantage. An advantage would be aimbot. Fortunately, Sea of Thieves isn't so buggy that you can literally just edit a file and get aimbot. So, and the funniest part out of all of this is that you don't even need to edit game files to get a bigger horizontal field of view. As shown by Rock here, one of the members in my Discord server, you can literally just crop your application to look wider. Granted, it doesn't look perfect and you're giving up some vertical vision, but if you really just want that wider vision, you can just do this. Also, in Rust, if you have an ultra wide monitor, you can see extra wide past the game's supported field of view, but that's not bannable. I'm not sure if you can do the same thing in Sea of Thieves with an ultra wide monitor, because I don't have any friends who play Sea of Thieves on an ultra wide monitor. If you do, leave a comment below, because I'm genuinely curious if you can. But anyways, in Rust and maybe Sea of Thieves 2, it's literally just a hardware advantage. Hardware advantages have literally been a core part of gaming since the beginning of PC gaming and cross-platform gaming. NVIDIA's literal slogan is frames win games, implying a hardware advantage. Ultimately, the person with a better setup will always have an advantage. There's always going to be someone with a better graphics card, a better CPU, better RAM, better storage, better SSD, faster loading times, all of that. But listen closely, just because someone has a hardware advantage over you does not mean they are better than you. For example, there's a lot of Xbox players that are better than me, despite several hardware disadvantages. For example, Snapper. I know he's on an Xbox Series X now, but he used to be on a slower Xbox earlier, or even his old laptop. And despite playing on a controller, and me playing on an expensive keyboard and mouse, and him playing stuck at 30 FPS, and me having a 165 Hz monitor, that just sounds like a flex. I'm not trying to flex, I'm just trying to make a point here. Despite all that, Snapper is still better at Sea of Thieves than me. So stop playing the victim and stop pretending that people using 120 field of view are aimbot cheating, wall hacks, god mode, flying around cheaters. We're not. It's literally just a visual preference. Okay, to wrap this video up, I'm going to summarize. High FOV isn't against the rules or any user agreements I could find anywhere and is not bannable. 120 field of view is not an advantage. 180 is, 360 is, but not 120. And the whole point of this video is to answer your hundreds of comments. How is your FOV so high? Aren't you scared you're gonna get banned? But most importantly, to tell Rare, please, I deeply implore you to add 120 field of view support to Sea of Thieves natively. This will stop all the Xbox players from complaining that it's an unfair advantage and that they won't be able to have it because they're on Xbox. This will also prevent all the Microsoft Store players on PC from complaining about it, since they can't do it and they don't want to pay $40 for a new version of the game on Steam and, you know, all that. It looks so much better, in my opinion at least. I know people can disagree with me. If you disagree with me, it's fine. And the extremely minor visual bugs caused by this are incredibly simple fixes. You got this, guys. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I know it's a little different from my normal videos. I just feel like addressing this topic. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.